It was an ordinary morning at the bustling city airport, a place where lives crossed for moments before diverging again, where laughter, tears, and hurried footsteps created a symphony of fleeting human stories. Among the streams of travelers hurrying to catch flights and dragging heavy luggage behind them, a young woman named Alina walked calmly but with purpose. Alina was not wealthy, not powerful, and not even entirely sure where her life was heading, but she carried herself with a dignity that came from her heart, a deep well of kindness, compassion, and resilience. At just 24 years old, Alina had already experienced her share of hardships. Her father had passed away when she was still in school, and her mother, though supportive, struggled to keep the household afloat with a modest income. Alina had graduated with a degree in business administration but had not yet found a steady job. She often took small part-time roles, from tutoring children to helping at the local library, anything that could ease her mother's burdens. That morning, she was at the airport to apply for a temporary position as a customer service assistant, hoping that even a short-term opportunity might open doors to something greater. She was dressed neatly in a navy skirt and blazer she had borrowed from a friend, her hair tied back in a ponytail, her eyes bright with determination. She was nervous, but she kept whispering to herself, "Just do your best, Alina. That's all you can do." As she walked down the wide hallway toward the office where interviews were being held, her eyes caught sight of something unusual. Near the row of glass windows, just a few steps ahead, an elderly woman in a wheelchair appeared to be struggling. The woman, perhaps in her late 70s or early 80s, had soft silver hair, a cardigan draped over her shoulders, and a suitcase beside her. She looked around uncertainly, her eyes reflecting both fatigue and vulnerability. The crowd rushed past her, too busy to notice, too focused on their own lives to pause. But Alina noticed. Something stirred inside her, a pull, a quiet but powerful call to act. She slowed her pace, her interview momentarily forgotten, and approached the old lady. "Are you all right, ma'am?" Alina asked gently, kneeling slightly so she could meet her eyes. Her voice was warm, calm, and caring, like sunlight breaking through a cloudy sky. The old woman looked startled for a moment, then her expression softened into relief. "Oh dear, thank you for stopping. I was trying to find the arrivals gate where my son was supposed to meet me, but I think I've gotten a bit turned around. It's all so confusing here, and I feel like I'm in everyone's way." Alina smiled reassuringly, placing her hand over the elderly woman's frail hands. "You're not in the way at all. Don't worry, I'll help you get where you need to go." The old woman's eyes glistened with gratitude. "Thank you, child. You're the first one who's even stopped to ask. Everyone else just rushes by." Without hesitation, Alina took hold of the wheelchair handles and began guiding the woman through the bustling terminal. She carefully maneuvered past rushing travelers, politely asking people to make way, and making sure the elderly woman's suitcase rolled smoothly beside them. As they walked, the old lady began to talk, and Alina listened with genuine interest. "My name is Eleanor," the woman introduced herself, her voice carrying a blend of wisdom and weariness. "I came to this city because my son works here. He insisted I travel to visit him, but airports make me so anxious these days. It's not like it used to be. Too loud, too fast. I feel invisible." Alina nodded sympathetically. "I understand. It can be overwhelming. But you're not invisible to me. And don't worry, we'll find your son." They continued on, and Eleanor began to ask questions about Alina's life. Unlike most strangers who asked out of politeness, Eleanor seemed genuinely curious, almost as though she were studying her with careful eyes. Alina shared bits and pieces about herself, her dreams of one day working in a reputable company, her struggles since her father's death, and the way she always tried to be strong for her mother. She didn't complain or dramatize, she spoke simply, humbly, with honesty that revealed the beauty of her soul. Eleanor listened intently, her heart warming with every word. Here was a young woman who was not only kind enough to help a stranger but also carried within her the kind of values that had become rare in a world obsessed with material success. Eleanor thought of her own life. She was, in truth, a woman of immense wealth, one of the city's most discreet millionaires. But she had never flaunted her riches, preferring to live quietly, investing her fortune wisely, and dedicating much of her energy to philanthropy. Her only son, Daniel, was her pride, an accomplished businessman in his 30s who had remained single despite her subtle nudges toward marriage. Eleanor longed for him to find someone genuine, someone who would love him for who he was and not for his fortune. And as she listened to Alina, she felt something stir, a hope, a spark, that perhaps fate had placed this young woman in her path for a reason. When they finally reached the arrival's gate, Eleanor's son had not yet arrived. Alina stayed with her, keeping her company, chatting with her, even making her laugh with a small joke about how confusing airports were designed to keep people walking in circles to spend more money at shops. Eleanor laughed so heartily that other passers-by glanced at them with smiles. Time passed, but Alina didn't seem to mind missing her interview. Something inside her told her that being there for Eleanor mattered more in that moment. Eventually, a tall man in a navy suit approached, his eyes scanning the area until they landed on Eleanor. His face broke into a smile of relief. "Mother," he exclaimed, hurrying toward her. "I was so worried, I couldn't find you." Eleanor gestured toward Alina, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "Oh, don't you worry, Daniel. This lovely young lady found me first and has been taking such good care of me." Daniel turned to Alina, his sharp features softening as he extended his hand. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to her. I'm truly grateful." Alina shook his hand politely, her cheeks warming slightly. "It was no trouble at all. Your mother is a wonderful woman." Eleanor smiled knowingly at her son, then back at Alina. In her heart, she already knew she wanted to see more of this young woman. Perhaps fate had introduced them, but she was not about to let fate slip away. She thought to herself, this girl is special. Maybe, just maybe, she could be the one I've been waiting for. But Alina, oblivious to the secret thoughts forming in Eleanor's mind, excused herself politely, saying she had an interview to attend. She wished them well and walked away, her heart light despite missing her opportunity. Little did she know, her act of kindness had opened a door to a destiny far greater than any job she could have imagined. Eleanor watched her go, her eyes filled with determination. She leaned toward her son and whispered, "Daniel, I think I may have just found your future." Daniel raised an eyebrow in confusion, not yet realizing the weight of his mother's words. But Eleanor knew. She had made up her mind. The story was only just beginning. And so, fate had set the stage for a connection that would change all of their lives forever. Dear viewers, if you're enjoying this story and can't wait to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss chapter 2 of this incredible journey.